Hi, I'm Buzz Stoddard, and I'd like to invite you down here to Marina del Rey to see the newest listing at Cruising Yachts here in the marina. This is a beautiful late model Jeanneau 54, very successful boat for Jeanneau, and really established their place in the larger boat market amongst the production builders. And I'd like to start a little bit on the outside, point out some of the features, why this is such an exceptional boat. And I think by the time we're done, you'll get the message that it's probably more boat for the money than anything you'll find in this size and price range. First of all, it has a painted hull, and a lot of people are amazed at the cost of painting a hull. A boat this size would estimate around $25,000 depending on the striping. And it's a difficult process. They go through, when they paint the hull, the factories don't do it. They used to do colored gel coat, but it oxidized and it looked bad and people were unhappy and they stopped doing it, pretty much all the factories. The paint that they use is very expensive. It's less porous than the gel coat. It's more highly reflective. It's more UV resistant, but it's difficult to apply. The boat has to be out of the water and completely tinted. The workers, the painters, have to wear moon suits, and they initially fair the hull, and then they put base coats, color coats, top coats. The number of coats have to do with the pricing, but all of those have to be individually masked, and so there's a great deal of labor involved and skill as well. So it's really nice to be able to offer such a beautiful blue hull boat. Now, the boat also has teak decks, which is an expensive upgrade, and it has a coating. It's not varnished and it's not oiled. It's a brand new material that has just come out. This is the first boat to have it. It was quite expensive, but it's a material that should last a great deal longer than the typical sealers that we tend to use. So that's a nice feature. Jeanneau used this beautiful quarter round tow rail, which is a very nice feature, and in this case, of course, the bright work, it's all in really Bristol condition. We use that term loosely sometimes, but this boat actually meets that criteria. I guess in years gone by, in Bristol, England, they had some really cool boats, so that's where the name comes from. But here we've done a number of things on the deck to point out. First of all, you've got the turnbuckle covers in stainless. They protect the sheets from chafing and so forth. The Dorade vents, named for the original boat, Dorade, that invented them, I guess. It allows water to go in the cowl and come out the little side drains without going into the boat. And in this case, it's polished stainless steel, and it's got the guard on it as well. You'll also notice the chocks. These are very expensive, custom made. It's probably a $500 item. Most people don't use chocks. And if you go up further forward, you see the cleat and the lead of the dock line through the chock. So what it does, it allows the cleat to take a load in the proper direction, longitudinally, and it reduces chafing through the chock. So it accomplishes two things. It's a stronger and more secure, less chafing. Also, you see the large windlass on the deck. It's vertical, something that cruisers very much like, and the rather heavy chain that goes with it. And the anchor's been upgraded on this boat. As you can see, it's a plow type anchor, which is considered very desirable in our mud and kelp bottoms. In this case, it's been it's a polished stainless steel anchor. So instead of a $550 anchor, that's a $3,300 anchor. So just one of the nice kinds of details that have been included with this boat. Also, if you look up the mast, you'll notice that it's painted. It's quite expensive. I think we charge about 6,500 bucks to epoxy coat a spar like that as an option. He's got the spreader lights, the radar. That's a Riley mount, which is much more secure than the standard mounts that the radars come with. And above that, he's got a satellite dish, so you can get excellent TV. Hi. I'd like to point out the very beautiful and new canvas work that's been done on this boat. You have 4 different components. The Dodger, first of all, which is what we call an offshore Dodger. It's got removable side curtains and a roll-up center section so that in tropical conditions you get the maximum airflow but still have some protection over the companionway. Then we have the bimini that covers the helms and provides sun protection for the crew. And then we have the cockpit extension that connects the two. That we normally remove when we're sailing just so we can see the sails and so forth. And then finally it's got the enclosure, which is a full enclosure, and it's the type that allows airflow, even though it gives you privacy protection, and so it doesn't get unbearably hot inside there. Top-notch stuff, all brand new, just added to it. Lots of details here. The adjustable cars on the jib leads, that type of a thing. Everything is rigged in a very seaman-like way on this boat, down to the last details. At the helm here, in addition to our bow thruster, convenient winch controls, full instrumentation, autopilot, and over here we have our chain counter and remote windlass control. And your engine panel here, and it's got the certification for the Class A, which shows 11 people can safely sail this boat in a hurricane. So those are very rigorous, high standards that are required to get that rating. So it's just a further indication of how solidly built this is. If you look to the port side over there, you'll see an inlet for a water hose, which is actually a pressure valve that regulates the water pressure so that you can plug a hose in directly from the city water and not have to fill your water tanks, and it won't blow out your onboard water system. It's all in the details. Welcome to the cockpit of the beautiful Jeanneau 54. This was the last year they used, last model they used the old growth teak on. You can't find wood of this quality anymore. That was about the time of the big typhoon that hit Burma, and the European Union banned old growth teak, and we've been using plantation grown hardwoods from Africa to replace that. Some of them are very good, but nothing really compares to the quality of the woodwork on a boat like this. And of course it's been again maintained in Bristol condition. Beautiful teak table. You can see the winches. These are Harkins. These things are huge. They're 66s. And 2-speed. If it were Lumar, it would only be 1-speed, but Harkin is the top quality hardware manufacturer. Somebody bought a boat like this from me one time and asked how much money he was spending on the winches. And I said, you know that German car you just drove up in? Well, they're pretty expensive. So having electric winches of this size allows you to handle with ease even the largest sails on a boat like this. We have the controls for the bow thruster here, and your shifter lever, which is up. A lot of times they're down low, which frustrates people. You have the latest state-of-the-art 12-inch screen chart plotter, and those are about 5,500 bucks uninstalled. So everything is top quality. There's nothing to upgrade or to really improve on this boat. So let's take a peek down below. The companionway steps are particularly comfortable for getting up and down. They're angled so as the boat heels. They're secure. The way they make these is they alternate, in this case, the teak and the French light oak. It gives a very nice detail to the front of those. And in concert with that, they do the beautiful handrails in the solid teak on either side. So it's aesthetically pleasing as well as very functional.
Now that I know what's in it for me, I love to take it slow. And one of these days.
Welcome to the main salon of the beautiful Jeanneau 54. Very stylish and comfortable, as well as solidly built and very functional. This is the famous teak interior that is not available anymore. It's very desirable. I've never seen a teak interior in better condition than this. You can look at the gloss on the sole of the cabin. It's also got all of the features. It's got the upgraded table, which folds out for dining. It can be made smaller as it is for cocktails or coffee or TV watching. We've got an ice maker here. That's what it appears to be. Yes. It's handy. I had one customer say that was the most important thing he wanted on his boat because it was the only reason when he was on a mooring at the island that he'd have to go ashore was to get ice. So it's convenient having that on board. This is all double stitched French leather on the interior, and it's very durable. We've been putting leather interiors in our boats for many years and have had very good long-term success with it. So let's have a look at our galley. Welcome to the galley. We have Corian counters, which is very nice. It's a perfect marine material because it can be repaired. It's impervious to the marine environment. We've got a double polished stainless steel sink, got a large dry storage, lots of locker space and storage. We have an externally ducted exhaust fan, unusual on boats. A wonderful 4-burner stove, also not commonly found. We've got front-loading refrigerator, top-loading freezer, lots of locker space and cabinetry, and even a small dishwasher. Beautiful sets of drawers, pantry areas, and here's your washer dryer. So dishwasher, washer dryer, what else can you ask for? Welcome to the owner's cabin on the Jeanneau 54. It's got a wonderful queen-size pedestal bed. It's at least queen size, and it's on a center line, which is nice. We've got comfortable seating, lots of locker space and storage. You have your own private stereo back here, and heating and air conditioning controls. I've got a functional desk here, the vanity mirror, shelving, and you know, all of the comforts. The head is split on this boat, and we'll have a look at the head itself, which is on one side, and then the shower, which is on the other. It's very functional, and it's a feature that is well liked amongst the people who have sailed these boats. We even have a well concealed TV back here in the owner's cabin, and we can easily close it off, and it goes away. Nice feature. Here's the navigation station on the Jeanneau 54, and as you can see, we have the latest VHF. We have an inverter to provide 110 volts off of the DC batteries. We have a second navigational display. It's less common today. People use their laptops and iPads. You've got your heating and air conditioning controls, and DC and AC panels, and then to the far right, the generator controls. Welcome to the forward cabins. We have a V-berth cabin all the way forward. We have a queen size Pullman style double berth to starboard, and then there's another enclosed head with shower after that. And on the port side, we have a comfortable sofa which converts nicely to an upper and lower. And you got to put the cushions in the right way for that. There is also a bulkhead that can be placed in here, making this a private cabin with an en-suite head. And then you have the head on the port side, which accommodates the double berth forward and the upper and lowers here. So you have a lot of flexibility with the layout. It's one of the most successful interior layouts of any sailboat design, and it was the pattern for the 57, which is now the flagship of the Jeanneau fleet. So lots of options.
Go.
Hi, I'd like to point out a few things that may not meet the eye as you go through here. One thing, if you've noticed the fabrics that have been used, it's gold and silk, real gold and real silk, on top quality fabrics. It's got a 3-blade max prop, a new bottom 8 months ago. The 110 horsepower Volvo was recently serviced with new injectors and a turbo. Keep in mind, this boat was in the Great Lakes in fresh water until this year. So, you know, the condition of the through holes and the hull is top notch because it's been a freshwater boat. Only about 900 engine hours on it, so it's pretty low. And did I say that it's got a max prop, 3-bladed? Those are $5,000. And all of the servicing has been done and maintained, and just right up until the recent time. So while this owner has taken particularly good care of the boat, and he's known for taking that kind of care of his boats, he also has an eye and goes after boats like this that have already been extremely well maintained. So it makes it easy for him to dress them up and keep them in that Bristol condition.